think about it. Nothing's worse with life without it. Don't you feel the same way? Don't be crazy, nothing's easy. It's all good, just twice as hard. You can't rely on things you find. Don't you feel the same way? Oh, I only know what I hear, and not much to rely on. Well, I get this feeling and this fear. I know what you're high on. You're going to shows, taking your clothes off, and God only knows what else you do when I'm gone.
Alright, hello, thanks for listening. This is Dan Wyatt, and I'm here tonight with Justin Golday and Neil Ford from the rock band Diablero from Chesterton, Indiana. And Diablero has been around since about 2004, and they released an EP as a 4-piece band in 2005 called Feed the Fire, and then took a brief hiatus before the band was trimmed down to a leaner and more effective 3-piece. They have an incredible new record coming out this year called This House. Welcome. Thanks, guys, for coming.
Thanks for having us, Dan.
Good to be here, man.
First off, I wanted to see if you guys could describe your band's sound to those people who are unfamiliar with your work. Diablero has a very unique sound, and maybe you can give some listeners a reference point as to what some of your influences were that filtered into the sound.
Sure, yeah. At the time, when we first formed back in 2004, I myself was listening to a lot of like Failure and Queens of the Stone Age. Those were my two faves at the time. So I think a lot of that sort of, I guess, attitude, you could say, came out when writing riffs and stuff with Neil. Besides, not to mention, all my longtime favorites like, Hendrix and Zeppelin, Sabbath, all the classic dudes.
A lot of the songs have this very, in quotations, bouncy rhythm that kind of seems to contrast somewhat with the some of the lyrical content. Songs like True Tramp, Just Enough, they just have this really groovy rhythm. Where do you think those bouncy rhythms come from?
It's a good question, man.
It's just a rhythm that feels good to play, so I think that's why we like to play those. They're kind of rhythms that you can just, you can just kind of strut down the street to them, or drive your car to them, or do whatever to them. It's just kind of a feel-good rhythm.
Yeah, I agree.
Just play what feels right?
Yeah, and...
I'm always a big one about bread and butter, you know what I mean? I always want everything to be bread and butter, just like all the way, Sometimes a little more butter, sometimes put some sugar on that butter, or whatever, bread and butter.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, the new record is called This House, and one thing I noticed when listening to the album is this sort of theme about place or home or lack thereof seems to be a common theme on the record. What can you tell me about the title track, This House, and why did you choose that as the title track?
This house has a lot to do with kind of where Neil lived at the time. It's part of it.
That White House on Woodlawn and Calumet, downtown Chesterton.
Yeah, that's pretty much where we, started up and practice and found our drummer, Aaron. And
just staying up late, partying and playing music.
Yeah, a lot of time lot of creative time was spent in that house for me, and Neil as well. But I'm speaking for myself. Like, I would be up, by myself in the middle of the night, and this house, and writing songs, and we came up with so many songs at once. It was just crazy. Pretty much all the songs on our list as of right now are
from that era.
Right, when we first started. I don't know, this house, though, getting back to that, is also, it could be a metaphor for anything. I used it as a metaphor for, certain problems I was having at the time. And
I want to talk a little bit about In the Honor, and it's really an incredible song. It's probably my favorite one on the record.
Thanks, man.
You can stop me when I'm wrong here, but, it has this feeling like a song about really trying to do the right thing and being unsure of how to go about doing it. And I wonder if you could shed a little light about what this song is about and what it means to you.
So,
Justin.
With an hour to sleep, wake me if I weep. I've got a promise and a secret to keep, in the honor of his name. Better answer the call, realize I'm not so small. Go on and take it all as it comes.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely in the neighborhood of what it means. I mean, kind of a lot of these songs, keep in mind, as far as my songwriting style goes, we would usually come up with badass riffs first, and I would fit a melody over it with no words, so I'd kind of what would sound best here without any words in mind, if you were just playing like a guitar riff over it or something, what would sound best. So I'd come up with that and then try to match the rhythms of the melody to, the syllables of words, and then that's when my, poetic side, I guess you'd call it. I wouldn't call myself a poet at all, but definitely more of a guitar player than anything. But kind of just at the time, how I felt, obviously, words would, channel out of me. So I guess you can just, take it however you want.
One thing that I've always admired and quite honestly envied about Diablero is the great support that you receive from your family, Justin. Your parents are always there at every show.
Man.
Can you talk a little bit about how important it is that your family is always there for your shows?
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, it's unbelievable. My parents are definitely, including my wife, they're all huge Diablero fans and show the utmost support. And, my dad's recorded countless shows. Probably attended 95% of them.
Yeah.
My mom probably about 80%. And my wife, she has attended pretty much the new Diablero the most.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, their support is great. Couldn't do it without them for sure.
Justin, I know you've been involved with a lot of projects in the past, like Supernatural, South Shore Band, Old Devil Moon. What is it about Diablero that makes it so special to you, even after you took a brief hiatus? And quite honestly, the future of Diablero was uncertain. You chose to revive the project. What is it about this project that sets it apart from the other ones you've been involved with?
I like Diablero's music the most. I mean, that's what I enjoy playing the most. I enjoy playing in all my other bands. I play, a lot of different styles, and but I think that all really trains me to play in this band. To be able to hold down a rhythm guitar and sing, belt out vocals, and be able to, do leads and stuff when it's fitting. And I think being in all the other bands I've been in has really trained me as a guitar player to be the front man of Diablero.
How would you describe your creative process when you're working on a new song? Is there a certain routine that you have to go through? Does it just come to you naturally? Do you have to work really hard on it, or do they just kind of materialize out of nowhere when time is right?
Yeah, we touched on that a little bit. We were mentioning that a lot of these songs that we played today, you know, were written or, you know, really put together almost, 6 years ago now, right? Or even more than that, 7 years. Then, you know, the songs they came out easily and overnight for a lot of them. And, you know, we were just songwriting machines. And kind of our style of doing that, like I kind of mentioned before, we would, you know, come up with pretty much chord progressions, you know, your verse, bridge, chorus, you know, kind of
the arrangement.
Yeah, and then come back and, you know, I would work a melody into everything. Then we'd kind of go back, do some final touches, you know, try to lock up on some certain things and, you know, and keep them short. You know, we always kept that in mind. We don't want to bore the listener. So that's another aspect of this album, this house.
Yeah, the whole thing I think is about 34 minutes for 10 songs, something like that.
Right, yeah, we keep them all the tracks close together. 3 of them are actually connected. And
can you talk about the ones that are connected, the songs that are connected?
Yeah, so that'd be tracks 4, 5, and 6, Elevator, Blacked Out, and Lunar.
Mm-hmm.
Those, I mean, we pretty much, I think Lunar was written, it's a more recent song, and Elevator, I think, is more recent than Blacked Out.
Yeah.
Blacked Out's kind of an older one. But anyways, we just chose to put those together like that just because it sounded good.
I mean, Elevator and Lunar couldn't be more different from each other.
Yeah, I know.
I really like the contrast between the two.
Thanks,
and with Blacked Out in the middle of those two, it becomes an interesting sort of trifecta.
It was kind of our idea with the whole album was to not have big lulls in between songs anyways. Even on the songs that don't kind of string together how those 3 do. I mean, they're still just like one or 2 beats break and then right into it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like how we like to do our live shows too, so that kind of sounds like what we sound like.
Yeah. I agree.
Have you guys been working on any new material?
Yeah, actually.
Just the other day.
Working on a couple new ones the other day, and definitely, you know, want to keep it going here this time. And
that's part of the thing about getting this album done too is having all of our best songs that we already have written recorded, and it kind of makes us feel like writing new ones because we have quite a lot of songs already, and there's quite a lot of people in the world who haven't heard those yet. So it almost kind of makes you not really feel like you need to write new stuff. But I think now we're feeling it again.
Right, because everything's recorded now. And
one thing that I also really like about the whole record is. You know, it's a very personal record for one thing, and you know, there's this wonderful sense of catharsis throughout the whole album. Some people might be a little bit squeamish about some of the lyrical content because it's brutally honest, and that's what I really like about it. Was there ever a moment during the creation of any of these songs where you hesitated a little bit and were holding back on that honesty, or was it really important to just be brutally honest with yourself when making this record?
Yeah, the song is definitely, you know, written that way, brutally honest. And yes, there was hesitation on my part. I don't think it was known or not, but just because, kind of, you know, the man I am today and the man I was when I wrote those songs, you know, they're pretty different, you know, and I have kids, you know, and I, you know, was picturing my kids listening, to the words and stuff, and it kind of almost made me, hold back, but I still didn't. So, and actually, they all listened to it and didn't, really say anything. I mean, it's not like it's, anything like hardcore or anything, but, there's an F-bomb in one of them, and, it's talking about certain activities, and that I just hope they didn't catch.
Well, excellent. Well, do you guys have anything else that you'd like to add? Is there anything else that you would want people to know, or know how they can get a hold of you guys to contact you for when the record does come out?
Yeah, so again, we are Diablero, and our new album, This House, coming out soon. You can find us on Reverb Nation, and also Facebook. I definitely suggest buying it. It's a good listen. You won't be bored with it.
Hopefully we see you in person and you can buy it then.
Yeah. And I just suggest to turn it up loud when you listen to it, because you can get the full feel of what we were trying to capture.
All right. Well, thank you very much. That was
Thanks, Dan.
Justin Golday, singer, songwriter, guitar player for rock band Diablero, and also Neil Ford, bass player for Diablero. Thank you guys for coming in and answering the questions. Really appreciate it a lot.
All right.